Welcome back to this quick YouTube video. We are going to be showing you the credit repair formula, so stay tuned. Now, this credit repair formula is not the end-all be-all. Every single client has different credit situations and a different credit report, and different drastic measures or different measures may be needed to take place in order to fix their credit. So this is just a method that works for a majority of people. Learn as much as possible, try to implement it and see if this works for you. So the very first thing that everybody needs to do in the first place is get a copy of your credit reports from every single credit reporting agency. So the first three that you definitely want to do is Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. How do you get this? I highly recommend you getting a free account with all three credit reporting agencies. So go to Experian, make a free account with them, go to TransUnion, free account with them, and Equifax, okay? Now, all free accounts, make sure that you do not put your credit card information anywhere. If they say, link your card here, if Experian says, hey, boost your credit, link your accounts here, don't do any of that dumb stuff. Don't pay them. They're credit reporting agencies. They make a lot of money already. Get your free accounts, okay? Now, there is secondary bureaus out there. What are secondary bureaus? There are smaller credit bureaus that are specialized into something. So for example, if you have bad credit and you can't apply to open a new bank account, like a checking account, then you may need to freeze your check system reports and pull your credit report from them. Okay, Check System is a credit bureau that gathers credit information for bank account information. Okay, so if you ever got overdrafted on a bank account, that's going to show up there. Especially if you got overdrafted, you owe the bank $200 and then you never paid them back, and they close the account down. That information is going to be there. So then future banks are not going to want to open a bank account for you. So that's that. LexisNexis, huge on public record. So you got bankruptcy, child support, tax liens, judgments, all that stuff. LexisNexis. If ARS is another one, Innovis is another one, SageStream used to be another one, but it got bought out by LexisNexis. So again, many secondary bureaus out there. Quick Google search will help you out. So I would recommend freezing those. Freeze those. That way the main credit bureaus don't use those as verification that you have this on your credit report, right? But go ahead and also pull the credit reports from there. That way you can see what's on there and you can dispute directly with them as well. Now, the first thing that I highly recommend you to dispute right away from the main credit bureaus is your personal information. You gotta clean up your personal information up. Why? Because this is the most important section of your entire credit report. I don't care what anybody says. Your personal information does not affect your credit score at all, but it affects your chances of being approved. Trust me, I talked to enough underwriters, bank relationship managers, and CEOs of financial institutions. The number one thing a bank does is they want to minimize risk. And their biggest risk is fraud, right? The very first thing that they want to do is verify your information. So how do they do that? They do that by, when you submit a credit application, they compare the personal information section on the credit application and they compare it to the personal information section on the credit report. And if on the credit report you have 1,000 name variations because you have Mexican parents and they decided to give you 5 different names, right? 3 different first names, 2 last names, right? You have issues because there's going to be a variation of every single name combination of your name. If you move the lot, especially for military members, if you guys move from house to house, location to location throughout the years, all those addresses are going to be there. So when you submit an application, they're not going to be able to verify you because you're going to have some accounts reporting this address, that address, this address, that address, and it's all going to be a mess. So the first thing you want to do is dispute all inaccurate personal information, all the addresses, phone numbers, employers, name variations, social security number variations. Trust me, I've seen multiple socials in one credit report. So please, please, please go and clean this up first. Experian does it 3. They do the first and last name, they do first, middle, initial, last, and then they do the full name, right? That is fine. But you mostly just want one name variation, one address, one social, one date of birth, one employer, one phone number, right? If you don't have that, you need work, right? Now, if you have 2 addresses, it's not the end of the day, right? It's just on a gradient scale. 1 address is better than 2 addresses. 2 addresses is better than having 3, and so on, so on. Right? Now, how do they get all these addresses? They get all these addresses by either credit applications that were submitted under your name, a current accounts reporting on your credit report. They're currently reporting that address as your principal address. So here's the other section that a lot of people don't know. make sure that every single good account on your credit report is reporting the same information, the exact same name, the exact address, the exact same date of birth, social security number, all that stuff, because that's how they get the different variations. Okay, once you have cleaned up your personal information, like I said earlier, update your accounts to that correct personal information, and then you can start disputing the negative information, the negative accounts. You're going to be able to dispute your negative accounts directly with the credit bureaus, directly with the lenders. Let's say if you have a late payment with Chase, you can directly dispute it with them, and collection companies. So if you have a collection on your credit report, you can dispute it directly with them as well. You're going to do this by sending it through the United States Postal Service, and I highly recommend it that you send it certified mail. Why? Because in case you got to go to court and sue these guys, if you got to file a CFPB complaint, a BBB complaint, or Attorney General's complaint, you have track record through a U.S. government agency, which is the United States Postal Service. The United States Postal Service is a government agency. They're tracking that they receive these disputes, these letters, right? So in case like the credit bureau goes to court, you take the credit bureau to court and they go, hey, I never received said letters from Eddie Garcia. I'll be like, nah, I have my receipts from the United States Postal Service, which is a U.S. government agency. They say that you received all the first letter on this date at this time, you signed for it, here's your signature, etc., right? So you have documentation. It's very important to document. It's very important to stay on top of this. This is why people hire people like me. With my company, I have a staff of over 20 employees where we can go ahead and track all this information for you, all the disputes, and make sure that this is we're on top of this. Now, besides, removing all and disputing all the negative information, it's very important that you start building good credit, right? And like I've done it in a previous video, I'll go ahead and link it to this video. There's a good way to start credit from scratch. So it is from a secured credit card and a secured loan. There's a few other tips in there that I highly recommend. So I'm gonna link that video, like I said earlier, so that you guys can watch that. Now, let's say it is a few months, you've been sending 3, 4, 5 rounds of dispute letters to the creditor bureaus, creditors, collection companies, and there's still like 1 or 2 pesky accounts that are remaining on your credit report. Then at that point, after having all this information gathered, right, keep track of all the letters, emails that the credit bureaus, creditors, and collection companies, even phone calls, everything that you get from them, save it, record it, take pictures of it, upload it on a folder on your computer, because here's what you're going to do now. After multiple months and they're still not helping you out, after multiple times of back and forth communication with them, you're going to file a CFPB complaint, a BBB complaint, and an Attorney General's complaint, like I said earlier, because here's the sauce. They're going to ask you to submit documentation proving that you've been in communication with them and they have not been able to help you out. There, you can upload all this massive amount of information, backing your story up and making them look horrible, right? So with that being said, it's very important that you keep track of all this. That way you can submit these complaints, okay? With that, they're supposed to respond to CFPB in 15 days. Now, what the hell is CFPB? CFPB is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They are a bureau, a government agency that was created to protect consumers, us, the average people, against huge conglomerate companies, right? Like Experian, Equifax. Why? Because they noticed that, back in the day, these major companies can completely ignore people if they wanted to. Why? Because they're super powerful, they have a lot of money, they have lawyers. And what do we have? How hard has it been to sometimes get a hold of a human being and over the phone, with these major companies? Sometimes it's very hard. So this is why the government created the CFPB, to be able to protect us and require these companies to respond within 15 days of a complaint, okay? The BBB is the Better Business Bureau, right? They also handle complaints. And Attorney General is, the highest ranking officer in your state, right? So you're gonna go to Attorney Generals of, like, this is what you're gonna Google. You're gonna Google Attorney Generals of whatever state you live in, and then go there to that website, and you're gonna be able to find a button that says file a complaint. And you're gonna file a complaint against a company. It'll be, either the creditor, the collection company, or the credit bureau. And then wait for a response. And the last tip I give you is stay consistent. Just stay on top. Keep track of everything. Keep a folder on your computer. Scan everything. That way you have documentation backing up your story. Beautiful. I hope you guys were able to gather as much information from this video. I hope this helps. I would love to hear your stories. If you have any questions or success stories, write them on the comment down below. Please like this video as this will help me out, and share it to your friends if they have any questions on how to do credit repair. And if you guys need help, like, hey, Eddie, I tried all these methods, or hey, Eddie, sounds very complicated and overwhelming, I want you to handle it for me, please reach out to me. I'll be able to get on a call with you. I'm going to put a link in the description for you to be able to book a call with either me or one of my credit specialists. We will be able to discuss what will be the best course of action for you. We'll see you next time. Thanks.